Hey, Glitch Theater, please welcome Zacharias D. and Ray Apollo.
What's up, TwitchCon? How's everybody doing? So, welcome to a very special episode of Patch Notes. Ray, before we get started, if you would indulge me, I just want to give a quick shout out to the Glitch Theater team.
Yes.
So, myself, Christian Lynch back here on the ones and twos, Jenny Drexler, Ian Ward. I've been working really hard this weekend to bring a lot of the Glitch Theater content to y'all, and I just wanted to take a second before we get into the Patch Notes updates to kind of just give them a shout. So
Yes, well done to all of y'all.
well
I
done to
appreciate
that.
y'all. Thank you so
guys
much.
give it up, Ian. Thank you very much. My name is Zach Ryan, and the prompter says that this is my good friend Ray Apollo. But if y'all watch Patch Notes, you know Ray and I probably classify more as like frenemies. Is that?
I was thinking best friends. Wow.
That's
Okay.
why we're sitting so far apart on the couch. Ray, how's your show been?
So far, this show has been unlike any other for me. The other one being the last time we did it here, which I came as a creator and now I work here, and that's wild. But I've had a really good time. It's been so nice to see folks that I haven't seen in years, see folks that I've been wanting to meet since everything started, and it's just been nice to get back together, for real.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Right on. This is my second TwitchCon. My first one was in Amsterdam earlier this year. And I gotta say, it's really kind of amazing to see the community all out here in full force and having a good time and carrying on. So it's nice to see y'all in the
Yeah,
theater
I'm
as well.
glad y'all here. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. We couldn't be happier that you're all here spending time with us for the final day at TwitchCon. Today's episode is special for a lot of reasons, the first being this amazing crowd. Ray, what about you?
So I'm gonna let y'all know. Some of y'all already know, but Patch Notes, of course, is always streamed live on Twitch. Hey, chat, I'm so happy to see you. I don't know where you are, but you're out there somewhere. But today we got a theater of people right here in front of us in San Diego, joining the...
Wow, you're all from San Diego? That's wild.
No, not literally. But so joined by the thousands of more y'all in chat. So we also have an all-executive lineup on Twitch staff today that includes the heads of product, monetization, and safety product. They'll be right over there.
We've been calling this segment internally, we've been calling it Patch Notes Live, which I think is kind of a misnomer. It's really funny because Patch Notes is always live.
True.
But I just want to let you in on that
never
little
not done it live.
production secret. For the next hour, folks will be answering your top questions and letting you know what we're working on and why we're working on it. Patch Notes, for those of you that don't know, is all about in-depth information from the people who know Twitch inside and out, like Ray. And no one is actually more qualified than the crew that we've got on stage for you today.
Yes, but in case you missed the opening ceremony on Friday, we opened the Q&A tool on /Twitch and began taking questions from the community. In addition to these questions, we also pulled questions from the community across social media, user voice, and from some other networking sessions that we've had with streamers this weekend. We want to also ask and encourage you to ask questions in the chat while you're here if you're out in the audience. So thank you for showing up and asking your questions, but if there's something you want to know, there's a really good chance someone else wants to know it too. So please, please ask your questions.
Without further ado, let's get right into it. I want to welcome to the stage Twitch's Chief Monetization Officer, Mike Minton, Head of Product for Safety, Allison Huffman, and Chief Product Officer, Tom Varelli. Come on out. Hi, everybody.
Hey, gang.
Welcome to day 3 of TwitchCon.
Thank you.
I'd like for each of you to move down the line here and just introduce yourselves, what you do at Twitch, etc. If you wouldn't mind, Mike, you want to start?
Sure, happy to do that. So my name is Mike Minton. I'm also known as Mac Lags in chat. Been at Twitch for about 7 years now, and it's actually my 7th TwitchCon. And my role is helping streamers make money.
Tom, what about you?
Hi, I'm Tom Varelli. I have been at Twitch 6 years now. I started as a baby product manager building the mobile app. And these days I'm responsible for all of the non-monetization products that you use. So everything from the streamer tools you use to make your broadcasts, discovery, all of the chat and interactivity features you use, as well as responsibility for how we keep our community safe.
And Allison, yourself?
It's a great segue. I'm Allison Huffman. I am the VP of Product for Community Health at Twitch, which is the product development side of trust and safety. So things like streamer and mod tools, stuff used by our internal trust and safety staff, a whole bunch of invisible things that proactively detect and mitigate harm. I have been at Twitch since January of 2020, so this is my very first TwitchCon. It's amazing.
Right on.
It's fabulous. Thank you. But I have been working in the safety space since 2007 when I was a community moderator for a Flash gaming website. And so that is, I feel,
Flash games,
for Flash. And so this has been a long passion area of mine, and I'm delighted to be here talking with you today.
Awesome. We're delighted to have you.
Thank y'all for all being here. Appreciate it.
Yeah. We've got a lot to cover today, so I do want to jump right in. Tom, I want to start with you. Before we dive, can you talk to me a little bit about how your team approaches building products for our entire community?
Sure. It depends on the right place to start. When we build products, we do it very explicitly with streamers as our customers. So we start from the question that says, how do we help our streamers grow? And one of the things that's probably common that we should talk about is, I see sometimes when we launch products on Twitter or elsewhere that people say, hey, I don't get this. I don't really need this. This isn't for me. And one of the things that's worth thinking about there is we're building for all 8 million of you who are currently building your streams, and you all have different needs. So what we're doing is we're always looking to make sure that we are serving the most of you, and we are serving as many of you as we can with each product. And we try and maintain a variety of products in order to do that for as many of you as possible. So with 8 million streamers, if we build something that makes life great for 75% of you, it still means there may be 2 million people who are scratching their head a little bit about why do we build that thing. Safety is the exception to that, and Allison will talk a little bit about that later. But when we build those products, basically every product we build falls into one of two categories. We're either building a tool that enables you to go and do something for your benefit, or we are building something on your behalf. And so as we talk through today, it might be worth kind of Ray and co like thinking through where do the products we think, or the products we talk about fit in that.
Okay. Thank you for explaining that. I really appreciate it. Well, seriously, let's get right into it. So, Twitch leadership has been very open about the 50-50 subsplit. What are you building so that streamers see the value in giving Twitch half of their money?
I actually love that framing. We have to show up every day and make sure what we're doing is we are earning our share and make sure that we're adding value to streamers. And every team that's building products at Twitch basically is thinking about how do we help you as streamers build an audience, turn that audience into a community through engagement and interactivity and through your talents, and then help you take that community and turn those into supporters through monetization tools. And one of the founding principles of all the things we build is we understand that all of your communities are different, and you're the expert in your community. So what you see from us often is tools with options that allow you to make changes there and like let you customize those things to your communities. But one of the things I'm really passionate about at the moment is that like streaming is too much work. It is too hard to be a great streamer right now. If you take a late night kind of comedy host, they have a room of 15 writers who spend all day coming up with 5 minutes of material for them, and they can bring on a plethora of Hollywood guests. It's mostly just you and your talents, and you're both trying to play games or make music or engage with your community, or other things, and engage in your community all the time. So a lot of what we're focused on right now is how do we reduce that burden for you and give you tools that make community making from audiences easier. So you heard a little bit from Emmett at the keynote about Guest Star, which we're really excited about. Helps you basically create content with your community and bring chat up onto stage with you so that you can kind of co-create. But you also see it in other features we've launched recently, like our chatter highlights, which is designed to basically help you understand who's in your chat at any given point and make sure you give out love in all the right places. Because remembering who has been here or who hasn't or who's back for the first time in ages is hard enough. Doing it while trying to beat Elden Ring is basically impossible.
Fair.
That's fair. Ray, did you beat Elden Ring, or?
I did, actually.
I'm really proud of you, buddy.
Yes. I'm a gamer.
I did
I want to talk a little bit about monetization. I know it's a hot topic, but before we dive into questions, Mike, can you take a step back and talk to us about what monetization team does at Twitch and how you think about monetization?
Monetization is always a hot topic. But certainly, starting with what our teams do, we build products that reward and recognize viewers who support their favorite streamers. So how do we think about this when we're building these tools? So recognizing not one size fits all. Streamers have different goals. Streamers are in different places in their journey on Twitch, from first just got affiliate through to superstar. But at the end of the day, the North Star is continuously focused on growing the overall payouts for streamers on Twitch.
I have to say, obviously, last month's announcement was really difficult for many. Do you have a response for those in the community who are upset?
We've certainly heard your responses, and we'll get into that and as we go through this. Important thing for me is that me and my teams are 100% focused on improving your ability to earn income. It's incredibly important to us. A lot of my team members are here in the room, and that is what motivates us, and that's what we're trying to do here in our roles at Twitch. At the end of the day, we're setting a framework for the long term so that you can all keep earning and as long as possible, and the next generation of streamers can have that same opportunity.
Okay, all right, I hear you, Mike. But sub-rev split, you say the goal is to enable streamers to make more money. So why aren't we offering them a 70-30 split? 70-30 split, my bad.
Yep, the question here is, why not? And we did look at all possible options. Could we do it? Could we offer 70-30 widely and broadly? And the answer is no. Simply is not viable for Twitch over the long term, at least as we know things today. Now, the immediate response that typically follows is, but wait a minute, you're part of Amazon. What are you talking about? But the thing to understand here is that Amazon expects Twitch to be able to thrive financially as an independent, sustainable business. But good news, Amazon has this amazing benefit called Prime. And as part of their Prime offering, they have Prime subs. And those Prime subs, when you take and add up all the earnings that streamers earn from Prime subs, you add that to the rev share on the paid subscriptions, it equals about 65%. And oh, by the way, there's a whole bunch of Prime subs that go unredeemed every month. So that 65% is growing as more streamers talk about the benefits of Prime and how much that Prime sub means to them. So, as Tom kind of talked about, our role in this, we recognize we're in this together, right? You all have the hard job of creating amazing, engaging content, building communities, keeping your communities safe. And our job is to build the tools that allow you to do that while making more money. And then as the other factor within that is also the cost of live streaming. It is simply an expensive endeavor to deliver high definition, low latency, globally available video around the internet. That's our partnership.
How are streamers supposed to earn more without a higher sub-rev split?
The sub-rev shit is sub-rev.
Autumn, mods?
I would have guaranteed.
Flip that.
I would have guaranteed you that the Australian was going to swear on stage.
Yeah.
Turns out that's not
I was
true.
going to say, I'm like least likely out of the three of us, and yet here we find
I know,
ourselves.
isn't that amazing?
The magic of live.
Yes,
It wasn't-
live
I know, I'm proud of
interactive.
you.
It wasn't me this time.
All right, but to answer the question, you're welcome. The rev share split is only part of the equation. So it's really about the broader set of community and tools that provide more income opportunities. I just talked about Prime subs. We added community gift subs a few years ago, Hype Train a couple years ago, ads incentive program, and those are just a few things that we've done through the work that we've been doing to help you make more money on the audiences that you already have. We increased the amount. We shared this stat in the blog post. It's kind of confusing, so I'll give you two ways to explain how to think about the amount more, how we've helped. So for every viewer hour, if you look over the last 5 years, right, we've increased your average revenue 27%, year over year over year over year, compounding, right? So if you go back and let's say you had the same community, same size 5 years ago, it means that same community, you'd be earning 3 times as much as you did 5 years ago. So it's that investment, it's the continued innovation and new products, new mechanics, really super focused on what works for, as I said, streamers, no matter where they are in their journey and no matter what their goals are. Finally, the ad rev share split, we knew that ads were really important for larger streamers, particularly partner and beyond. So we recognized that we needed to invest in that, which led to the increased rev share and the ads incentive program for partners and affiliates that are running at least 3 minutes of ads.
Okay, well, hearing you say that, still, some community members feel that only the 1% of streamers make money on Twitch. Why aren't you helping more focused times to help smaller streamers earn more money today over that 1%?
We are absolutely focused on helping smaller streamers earn money. And specifically, if you look at our products, we talk about that first affiliate sub, right? You earned your affiliate, you went in there, you uploaded your emotes, you get that first subscriber. And that's really where it all begins in terms of building the community, building the language in which you engage together. As you grow, and you get a daily acknowledgement from cheering, gifts start to come into the equation, you get visitors coming in the channel, you get your best community members are often dropping those gifts to welcome them, the new community members in. And then as you grow, getting up near partner, all of a sudden ads become a really good deal. And if you're consistently running ads, it will increase your revenue quite a bit. And so through all of these changes, the combination of gifts and ads go from about 25% of your revenue to about 65% as you increase toward partner.
Allison, I want to move the conversation over to you. I had a quick question for you. I wanted to know just a little bit about, you mentioned earlier you have a history as a mod. Can you talk to us about how the experience shaped your approach to building safety products at Twitch?
Yeah, it is quite literally the reason that I am sitting here. I was gonna go be a doctor, but then I played video games instead. And so that's real. And finding that community and finding my community online completely changed and transformed my life. But I also know that the thing that most keeps people from finding that community is the perception, feeling, and reality of being unsafe online. And so I am such a corny believer in bringing people together that I want to do this work to make it easier for people to find their people. And so a big part of that is creating an atmosphere where people can be their authentic selves and have a safe time, build an inclusive community. And I also know that mods out there are doing a lot. They are helping to remove the bad, handle people when they get a little out of pocket with their language, but they're also doing a ton of community building. They are welcoming people to your community. They are helping them understand the norms. They are teaching them the memes. And we think that safety and building that healthy community is pivotal for people having success online and connecting with each other.
You're right. Mods are the real MVPs. I mean that. All the mods out there, we appreciate y'all, for real.
We do. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it up for the mods. Ray, you better be treating yours well.
But on a more serious note, I know that hate raids are top of mind for many in the community. Yeah. A lot of people felt let down by the initial response to hate raids, and it felt like Twitch didn't move as quickly as they should have. What's happening now?
Yeah, so hate raids are at their core targeted harassment, which is a problem that we have been focused on and will continue to be focused on. It was something that we were working on when hate raids began, and that when hate raids happened, we immediately moved to accelerate to figure out what more can we do. But what we didn't do is tell the community that. We were focused on it internally, but we were wary of being as forthright as we know we should have in talking with the community and letting them know, we see this, we hear you, we are working on it. And that's something that I hope that we have improved in the last year. We have made major strides in trying to be more transparent with all of you, including being here and sitting with you today. But for the core problem, one of the things that was really tough about the hate raids of last year was that people were using botted scripted accounts to go and mass spam creators' channels, frequently targeting the marginalized creators based on their identity, which is never okay. And so what we have done since to try and help that is we have increased protections at the top of the funnel. We are doing a lot to block bot sign up to make it harder to create these scripted accounts that can really maximize the volume and the impact of this hate. We've also rolled out a number of tools for your channel that offer real protection. So we have phone and email verified chat, which allows you to customize who has to verify what to be able to talk in your channel, including people who are new to Twitch, new to your channel, haven't followed you, etc. They are very customizable so that they can meet the needs of your community. We also launched ban evasion detection as the first piece of our suspicious users detection framework. We have a machine learning algorithm that will identify likely ban evaders and flag them to you or let you restrict the messages for moderator review, because we want for you to be in charge of your community. And if you've decided that someone is not right for your community, we want to make it easier for you to keep them out and for them to stay out. And then finally, earlier this year, we launched shared ban information, which allows like-minded creators to high-five, team up, and share their moderation efforts with each other. So that if, Ray, you and me start sharing our bans, and you ban someone from your channel and they come to mine, I can see, ooh, if Ray doesn't think this person is up to any good in his channel, maybe they aren't in mine either. I should keep an eye on them. Finally, our amazing legal team actually took legal action on the people that we found that were behind the attacks of last year. That didn't stop just once those hate raids ended. We have taken additional legal action in the last few months as we have discovered more people who have been behind this. Because we take this incredibly seriously, we want to do everything in our power to prevent this happening to our creators.
Yeah. I think what's really interesting to me is
Thank you.
Thank you. I think what's really interesting to me is the conversation around transparency.
Yeah.
I think we see a lot on social. Why isn't Twitch doing anything about X, Y, Z? And I think the idea that we identify these things and are working on it in the background, but there's a time and a place to when to start having these kinds of conversations is particularly interesting.
It is, and with safety, it's really tough because we're working with motivated adversaries. People are looking at what we are saying. They're watching what I'm saying right now to figure out what can they learn to get around that. Even as we were making changes with hate raids, we saw their behavior shift. We were making a ton of behind the scenes changes to decrease this and to get rid of them. We banned 15 million bot accounts. We block 500,000 accounts from spamming hate in channels today and just in the last few months. But if we tell people what we're doing, we're giving them blueprints to go and break into the bank. And so as much as I want to give details to everyone about everything, we have to put protection at the forefront. And that sometimes means that we can't share the details of how everything works. But we want to do more to tell you what problems we're working on to make sure you know that we hear you and are working on what's important to you.
Yeah, and I think just anecdotally, I think that Twitch is in the year since I've been on staff has been a lot better about understanding when that transparency is important and also really making sure that that transparency is happening in the time that needs to happen. So,
yeah.
Definitely learn from mistakes.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Tom, I want to move over to you. I want to talk about those purple shoes.
Thank you, sir.
What size shoe you wear, Tom?
12 and a half, my good man. Can I give
I wasn't going to ask about your shoe size. I was just going to compliment your shoes.
Because Ray and I are better friends.
I have
Wow.
good intentions.
No,
Getting
I actually
personal up here on Patch Notes.
Can I give a little shout out to my girl Sudo, who's over in Artist Alley? Booth 135, she makes amazing dope shoes.
Those are cool. I didn't know those came from Artist Alley.
They did.
That's rad. I actually wanted to talk to you about discovery. This is obviously a huge pain point for a lot of people in the community. How should people be thinking about discovery, and what is Twitch doing to help?
Yeah, I think for my whole 6 years here at Twitch, I have been working on discovery. And the place I'd start is to say, I think the most important thing as a streamer, if you're thinking about growing your community and your audience, is think beyond your view count and your CCV of how many people are watching you right now. Typically speaking, we see a 15 to 20x multiple on the number of people you see on your view count as the number of people who watched you over a 4 or 5 hour stream. So if you think you are a streamer with 10 viewers, you need to start imagining, actually, I have an audience of about 150 to 200 people a day coming through my stream. If you have 100 viewers on average, you actually have more viewers in your 5 hour stream than exist in this entire theater, even at max capacity. So when you think about that whole group, we think about building tools for you and helping you build experiences in 3 distinct phases. Off Twitch growth, and how do we help kind of bring folks from Twitch onto Twitch, on Twitch discovery, and then how do we keep your existing community engaged and or re-engaged as they come back. So a couple examples that kind of pull together in terms of that work that we've been working on recently. So one of the things we released, I think it was just last week, is what we call the chat activity panel, which basically lets you in your dashboard go through and review your stream and see the really hype moments in chat. You can click through and deep link into that exact moment of the VOD. And the goal there is to help you find the best content that you can export and use as marketing for your channel much more easily, because scrubbing through a 5 hour VOD to find the hype moments when you have just come off stage is tiring, right? And then the question we have is how do we make that even easier to get out? So we released the ability to download those clips on mobile so that you can upload them natively to kind of vertical video format sites. When we think about on-platform discovery, one of the things that was the biggest shift over the last couple of years is moving away from strict directories just ranked big to small into utilizing more algorithms to help everybody get found by more people. And one of the things I wanted to throw out today is the biggest thing you can do to get yourself recommended more is use raids more often than you do. And now, I talk to a lot of streamers, and everybody assures me every time I talk to you all one-on-one, I always end my stream with a raid. The data tells me that only 25 to 30% of you end your streams with a raid on any given day. And the reason I would love you to pump those numbers up is the way that algorithms for discovery work is basically they take into account viewer overlap. So the percentage of viewers that watch my stream and the percentage of viewers who also watch Allison's stream increases the likelihood that Allison's viewers will be recommended to come watch my stream. So using raids basically takes a group of viewers from your audience and places them in another person's stream, increasing the likelihood that you will be raided. And this is just a productization of what you have always been doing in terms of collaboration. The number of streamers I've spoken to that say, when I collaborate with other streamers, I not just make better content, but those viewers come and watch. This is that, just in algorithm form, in what has been true in community. And when you're doing those collaborations, the shoutouts tool that we've released this year, that basically takes this from being a drop a link to somebody else in chat to, you call out the streamer, there's a follow button right there, you can build those community links immediately, are really big things that you can do in terms of tools that you can utilize to help grow your community. And the final one I'd say in terms of on-platform is please keep utilizing freeform tags. We're really excited that tag usage doubled when we moved them from the fixed taxonomy to freeform tags. But the more you can tell us and viewers about your streams, the more likely it is that you get found. And then in terms of returning viewers, obviously keeping the viewers and the great community members you have is the most effective way in terms of bringing people back who are going to end up being the type of people who monetize. So a couple things that are really useful there. What we're trying to do is take the work out of being a streamer, as I said. So what you've seen us experimenting with this year is what we call chatter highlights. It's the little box that pops up just visibly only to you as the streamer that says, this is Allison's first time back in a while. Go and give her some love, right? It's the type of prompt that says, there are more people who are brand new to your stream than have been here before. Give them a follow prompt, right? The type of thing we're hoping to give you, the thing that kind of, the boys have in their ear right now, which is a nice little producer giving them tips at the right moment. We want every streamer on Twitch to have those.
I see. I don't know what you're talking about. Nobody's talking to me.
Nobody put anything in Razor. Hang on, before we jump ahead, there's a couple things that I wanted to kind of circle back on. Tom, you and I were talking about a few of these things yesterday. First of all, I think it's really interesting, this idea of this 15 to 20% increase, right? That means that at least 15 to 20 people are watching Ray and my streams.
15 to 20x.
Yeah, exactly, 20 times, right. So also, I wanted to talk and highlight that the idea that raids are super important, because I think as a small streamer myself, I often get caught up in the idea that I don't want to raid a bigger channel, I don't want to raid somebody because I only have 10 people that are watching me at a time, or 20 people, and that feels bad jumping into a big room or a big chat when you are not bringing that many people to that experience as well. So the idea that algorithmically and just in terms of the intrinsic concept of community building is really fostered by raids. If you're a small streamer, this is one of the big takeaways for me out of this conversation is I'm gonna start streaming, or I'm gonna start ending all of my streams with raids, because I think it's just really smart and easy.
Yeah, I could definitely do better in that respect as well.
I'll raid your streams.
Oh, good. I'll try to raid yours. Yeah. But no, seriously, when it comes to raiding folks, sometimes it can be intimidating, I know, because it's I don't want to bother that person because I don't know them, or I don't want it to seem like it's, hey, look at me and my community and your community. It's never intended that way, but it feels that way, and I feel kind of guilty sometimes. But definitely with the new raid tools, I feel like I'll be able to find more folks about my size that I could raid. So, yeah. But in terms of finding people and finding things, what are you doing to improve discovery for small and mid-sized streamers?
Yeah. As Mike said, I think there's kind of smaller and mid-sized streamers are like the heart and soul of Twitch. It's like the core of where most of the kind of community building and engagement happens before you get to kind of our superstars. So the first thing we want to do is help you kind of make better content through tooling, because not every streamer here is lucky enough to have a producer or have kind of editors who are helping them kind of build all of the perfect sets of overlays and all of those things. And the quality of your content is obviously the thing that ultimately shines through and keeps somebody on your channel when they come to visit. But there's structural things that we're doing as well. So I mentioned before that we have been slowly shifting away from just directories ranked big to small into trying to make sure that we're using a kind of algorithmic discovery. So that's purely individualized recommendations. We have a couple different trending recommendations running across the homepage right now that helps surface particularly small and mid-sized streamers who wouldn't usually pop to the top of a given directory. I mentioned just earlier with Guest Star and with kind of raids, streamer collaboration tools that help us do that. I want to give a huge thank you to everybody who filled in the streamer community survey. That helps us understand more about who you are as people and helps us build out both our Unity campaigns as well as We're making like a really concerted effort right now to recognize the fact that great content is some combination of who you are and what you're doing. And what you're doing is much easier for us to understand, but who you are is truly the thing that your viewers appreciate. And so we're trying as much as we can to kind of incorporate those signals into discovery. And then, as I said, ultimately we're going to get to collaboration and how do you bring people on board. And from the limited tests we've seen during Alpha, I'm actually really excited about what we're going to see with Guest Star. I genuinely believe that there's like a new meta that's going to emerge as you have this capacity to bring streamers in, as you have capacity to bring people up from your chat to participate in those conversations. When I'm standing in the tent over here and watching massive meet and greet lines and the pent up energy and emotion and enthusiasm that comes with that, I heard rumors people faint at those things. I can see a world in which we have the capacity with Guest Star to bring back the like sub Sundays and those kind of community meetups that we see, and I'm really excited for the kind of impact that's going to have.
I want to apologize to the production staff backstage because I'm going to go off book again.
Oh no!
But just a couple of things that I specifically wanted to talk about in that last segment, and that's the. Oh, this is embarrassing. I actually lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. There's a couple of things that I wanted to shout out. Yeah.
You know what, though? But I have
Oh no, I got it. So thank you for scrolling back in the notes. But no, I did want to talk about the streamer community survey because that is something that we've hit on patch notes several times. Were you gonna back me up on this? Thank you.
I was going to back you.
Thank you. So the streamer community survey is like really, really important. It is something that is available to a lot of streamers, and it's really important to fill it out because I think that is, first of all, it's kind of cyclical, right? Like we learn a lot of information about you, you learn a lot of information about how we can put you into activation. So I think that we find folks for shelving for Black History Month and for Pride Month and things like that. I think it's really important that if you have the opportunity and the time to take the streamer community survey, to please do so.
It's in your creator dashboard.
Yeah, thank you.
And if we're going off script, just to terrify people. One thing I want to throw out, because I've had so many streamers come and ask me about it this weekend, is we ran an experiment recently that basically put a different browsing experience at the top of the browse directory that lets you sample a variety of streams before you kind of hit the kind of pre-roll ads and gave you an opportunity to explore. That work is very explicitly designed to both help new viewers and help smaller streamers grow. And the reason for that is obviously when you have the streamers you love and are your favorites and you may have subscribed to, what we want to do is lower the cost of sampling and exploring and finding new streamers. And so that work to try and find ways to let you sample before ad impact is entirely tied with how do we help you watch new viewers, viewers watch new streamers and help streamers get new viewers.
All right, so since we're still off book for a second, that was an experiment, right? And so it's not available to us currently. Would you say that that's something we're going to do again?
Yes, I think you can expect to see that coming back.
Okay, good. That is good to hear, actually. So thank you, because I know a lot of folks actually like that.
Great.
So I'm going to try and stick to the script because obviously, but no, Tom, I did want to talk to you, or I'm sorry, Mike, I did want to talk to you some more about ads. Some in the community.
Did you hit the ad break? Did we miss the ad break?
Some in the community hate ads, and some see it as a crucial way to make money. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you're working on improving the ads experience on Twitch?
Yeah, both are true. Poorly timed ads can be a bad experience. Nobody wants to miss out on the action. Nobody wants to have an ad get in the way of finding a new streamer, as Tom was talking about. So we fully appreciate a bad ad experience is good for nobody. But it is also true that many streamers rely on ads as a predictable, meaningful source of their income from Twitch. And when you get above about 80 CCU, I'll just try not to say revenue share split. I'll avoid that. You get above 80 concurrent viewers, you're looking at your ad revenue growing to be about 20 to 25% of your total take home from Twitch. So it is a really important source of revenue. That being said, we really are working hard to improve the mid-roll experience. So that's all about the timing. A lot of streamers have told me, I don't even know that an ad break is running. Like I set my timer and I ran away and forgot it. It just runs and there's no easy way for me to know. So we're very clear that's a problem. The community, giving them tools so that they can adjust an ad break. If an ad break is a bad time for one viewer, chances are it's a bad time for the entire community. So giving more control of the community to help adjust the ad breaks so they fit better with the content. We're also working very hard on less interruptive formats. You've heard us, we've launched stream display ads. These are the ads that run underneath the video or next to the video. We're working very hard to continue growing those, to continue reducing the impact on viewership, bringing more of those to the service. And then finally, the other thing is to recognize that smaller streamers the ad economics simply aren't as good, right? When you're at your beginning career as a streamer, the way ads work, they work better at the top end than they do at the bottom end. So for us, it's about focusing on, as I said, reducing pre-rolls of the discovery experience, reducing pre-rolls overall, and really improving that experience for smaller channels.
Okay. So I appreciate that, especially those non-intrusive ads. I've gotten a few of those, and I'm like, oh, actually, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah,
So,
right,
I mean, I say that, but it was like, oh, yeah, okay, that's fine. I see it. So thanks for that. But Allison, I often hear that user reporting is important, but a lot of streamers and mods feel that those reports just go into a void. Can you tell us what happens to them?
It would be my pleasure. I love myth busting. I am here for this. So every report goes to an amazing army of global trust and safety staff that are reviewing these reports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We have, in the last couple of years, I think, doubled the size of that team. We now review reports. We get 80% of them resolved within 10 minutes of them being filed, which is an incredible achievement. And that means that is a very, very, very effective way to let us know if you think that there is someone who is violating our community guidelines. We also prioritize keeping specially trained, highly experts in this in the loop so that they are the ones who are reviewing this. You know, if we just go based off of algorithms, we know that that can overban, and we want to respect the community and the livelihoods that our streamers have created on Twitch. And so we do the work to make sure that we can address your reports quickly, but also with the nuance and accuracy that you get from having a specially trained human team. If you get an enforcement, which no one in here would ever do, I'm sure, but if you do violate our community guidelines and you receive a suspension, you will always receive an email from us. Sometimes they go to the spam folder, so maybe give that a search if you see it there, but we will always give you one of those, and we are always working to provide more clarity and transparency to our community about our community guidelines and about enforcement and their reports.
I know this isn't your team, but I think the community would be interested to hear more about how Twitch gives one streamer a long suspension, but not another who does the same thing. How does it seem like Twitch applies the rules unfairly?
Yeah, again, more myths busted. So we apply our rules very consistently. It's just frequently using data that the community can't see. And so there are frameworks that use things like how much harm did this cause, or how many times has a streamer did it. If Mike does one slip up on stage, we can look past that. We can go, okay, yep, he
I'll get to come back?
Yeah, you'll learn, you'll come back, you will choose different words in the future. But if you're up here and you're repeatedly doing that, we're gonna go, my dude, get it together. And so there are places where the consequences, and they may look different to the community, and I completely understand why that is frustrating and why it can look inconsistent. But there are very consistent frameworks on the back end that handle all of this. We can't explain exactly what those are because people will exploit them, but we are working on ways that we can provide more clarity to the community on how we apply our community guidelines across different accounts.
So context is important.
It sure is.
Yes, okay. All right, well, thank you for answering that question. All right, Tom.
Yes, sir.
You're up again. So one thing we hear a lot is that it's gotten harder to grow your viewers on Twitch over the last few years. Is that right? Or what does the data tell us about it?
Yeah, that's probably the most common thing I hear when I talk to streamers. I've done a lot of kind of interviews and one-on-ones while I've been here and chat to streamers every week, and discovery and it's too hard is always the top. In the spirit of transparency you've both been kind of, calling for here, there is truth to that feeling. If you're sitting in the audience today and you feel like it's gotten harder to grow over the last 2 years, I think the honest answer is it has to an extent. Let me back that up with a number. One of the things my team's very focused on is how do we help people who start streaming today get to 25 kind of concurrent viewers. And the reason we pick that number is that's about the point in which you have a very regular, stable community. There are always people in chat. You tend to be earning money and getting that kind of check in the mail every month. And what we track is how many streams does it take you from the day you start streaming until you typically hit that number. Again, averages over an audience of 8 million, your mileage may vary. But in 2019, that was 46 streams on average to make it to 25 CCVs. In 2021, right now, it's 70. And that 24 streams matters because if you're streaming twice a week, it's the difference between 5 to 6 months of trying and 9 to 12 months of grinding, right? And that's a meaningful difference. The really good news is that more people are making it than ever before. So again, take 2019 to now, we have more than doubled the number of people who make it to 25 CCVs across that period. People are putting in that time and effort and are kind of in there. And the number of people making money in that 0 to 25 CCV group has more than tripled over that time period. So more of you are making it, but there is more work in that than we would like right now. And all of that kind of products I've talked about before of like giving you the tools to help yourself and building things on your behalf, all of that is designed for newer streamers to bring that number down. And we certainly recognize that 25 is not the end. We need to be helping all of you grow and keep moving down that path.
Mike, I want to take it back to you. Keeping everything you've said in mind, we also know that lots of streamers feel that it's extremely difficult to earn a living wage on Twitch. What's the plan to fix this?
Yeah, as I talked about earlier, it's just really no one-size-fits-all is going to answer this. But as we talked about, we're really focused in improving the ability to earn on Twitch. One stat I can share, which connects very closely with what Tom was talking about, is the number of streamers that earn at least $5,000, not suggesting that's a living wage, that earn at least $5,000 has almost tripled since the last time we sat here at TwitchCon in San Diego. So monetization tools alone are not the only solution. It really ties back to what Tom has been talking about in terms of growth, the work to distribute your content, welcome your community back, and then ultimately that will help you increase your paycheck.
Okay. All right. So, that being said, what else can viewers and streamers expect to see coming from your team?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that we've been working really hard on has been reducing the payout threshold. It's been really important. At first time that you get a check from Twitch is really an important acknowledgement of all the hard work you put in, and being able to receive that in a really real form is critical. So in this October pay cycle, with the addition of the US now able to access that reduced payout threshold, we've launched in 130 countries, reaching over 95% of creators at this reduced threshold. The impact of that is over 250,000 streamers will have received their first payout at that $50 threshold. Like, just absolutely mind-blowing in terms of the number of streamers that are now receiving a payout that weren't before by bringing that threshold down. We're also super excited about our charity product. Charity's been a big thing on Twitch since the beginning of time, but now we've productized it so that it's easier for viewers to know where the money is going, easier for streamers to keep track of what's what here. We're adding new currencies, we're adding new charities, and we're excited to see that continue growing as it has been. And as I mentioned earlier, really want to get less interruptive ads like the stream display ad format. We want to improve the pre-roll experience. We want to improve the timing of ad breaks. And then the ad incentive program, we're excited with some of the early results on that program, but we still have more to do there to make it more flexible, better meet the needs of streamers, and be able to accommodate some of the things that streamers need to do in terms of taking breaks and not feeling tied to a fixed offer by making it more flexible.
Okay.
Allison, coming back to you, some of these tools that have been discussed also limit growth and engagement. Why should streamers have to choose between safety and growth, while it should be Twitch's job to keep streamers safe?
Yeah, that's something that we think about a lot, is how can we balance this? And Tom said earlier that he is trying to do the most good for the most people. That's not the case for me. I'm trying to do the most good for the people who need it most. And what that means, to just say it plainly, are the more members of underrepresented groups on Twitch who are also underrepresented online. And so we know that streamers that are women, that are members of the LGBTQIA community, that are people of color, are receiving more harassment and have a greater need for these safety tools to keep their communities safe, but also have a greater need for these discovery solutions to help their communities find them. And so one of the reasons, Tom and I work incredibly close together, and one of the reasons for that is because any solution for safety that keeps someone safe by limiting the streamer's visibility or discoverability is not a full solution. We are really focused on finding ways to balance these things. In the last couple of years, we were investing in building powerful tools that are highly customizable so that streamers had those in their toolkit to be able to set up the channel that's right for them. Going forward, we're going to be trying to find ways to maximize their utility when they are needed. When you have those moments of, oh no, I'm on the homepage, there are people coming into my community. If you know Ray is retweeting you and you're getting some new hype in there, and you might want to change your safety settings a little bit to feel a little bit more protected, or in those moments of crisis, we want to make it so you don't have to make that choice, and it is easier for you to adjust on the fly. There is something coming in the next few months that is directly coming out of what we heard from the community, what we saw from the community post-hate raids last year, and I'm very excited for everyone to get to see it.
I smile real big because I know what it is, and I'm very excited.
Hopefully I'll see you on Patch Notes
Somebody
again, so
probably
talk
behind
about
the
it.
scenes is like, why does he know about that? I just do. Thanks, Allison. I really, really, really appreciate you talking about that. This topic is very personal to me. It's very important. And I know everyone who's listening right now is also important to y'all. So is there anything the community can know about what we should expect in the near future that's not what you just talked about that you're not going to talk about?
I'm not going to talk about it. Maybe later, maybe some other time.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are going to be kind of doubling down on the things that we know that work. We have invested in these tools that are really powerful, but we want to make them easier for creators to learn about, to understand, to use, to be there when you need them, but to not have those the engagement restrictions when you don't. We want to reduce the burden on moderators and on streamers by making it easier to do things like let us know when there is a community guidelines violation. As Tom said, it is super hard to be a streamer. I don't know how y'all do it. That's too many things happening at once. And we know that asking you to file safety reports on top of that is incredibly challenging. So we are taking steps to make it easier for you to let us know so that we can take care of it and review those against our community guidelines. We are heavily investing in proactive technology, some of which we'll be able to talk about, much of which we won't, that is continue to be out there to try and prevent the harm before it even reaches you and your channels. And then finally, it's just this continued focus on maximizing both safety and ease of people joining your community that you want to be there.
I like that.
So we opened up our chat extension on Friday during the opening ceremony. We asked for people to send their questions in for this segment. Then we've been taking questions throughout the course of the weekend. And now it's time to answer some of those questions.
Awesome.
You can also continue to ask questions using the extension on /Twitch, or if you want to drop !ask in the chat. We're going to get into the questions here. First up, for Mike from Evil Toaster, they say, I would love to know anything new to expect for the ads incentive program and anything improving the ads experience for viewers or adding control over ads for streamers.
Yep, we touched on this a little bit, probably answered the question after it was asked, but it really is about more flexibility for streamers is part one. We really want the ad incentive program to be able to work for you and not and have the flexibility, so if you're taking breaks or you're running a charity stream, that's not interrupting and causing you to miss out on the incentive offer. So it's really about flexibility and really focusing on the maximizing your payout at a 55% revenue share. As I said on the stream experience, I'm going to make sure that streamers are aware of ad breaks running. I understand you're not all in the dashboard as you're streaming. You're often in tools, other tools. So we have some good ideas in terms of ways that can help you understand an ad break is running and adjust your content accordingly. And as I suggested on the viewer side, give them more control over that ad break experience and making those adjustments. So if a big moment's about to happen, hey, snooze that ad break for a couple minutes and give me some time to see the big moment. And that's really in the near term. And pre-rolls. We keep talking about pre-rolls and getting pre-rolls out of discovery is job one. What I mean by discovery is that experience of finding new streamers, and if you're new to that community, we do not want to interrupt that experience with a pre-roll.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I hope that answered your question, Toast. I know Toast. Very, very, very nice person. Next one is from, looks like Iron Wolf.
No, next question's from Big66. Why can people banned still see video? This is for Allison.
Yeah, so that's something that we have definitely heard from our community. And this is a plug for our user voice. We do read it, we do look at it. Please share your ideas there. It's something where the actual protection that it offers to block streamback its stream playback is fairly minimal. Because your content is public by default, if people log out or just open an incognito window, they can continue to watch it. That said, I have had many conversations with creators who understand that and say, we still want this, and we hear you, and we are trying to make that happen. I will say there are just boring things like sometimes tech is more complex than one would think it would be, but we hear you with that. We hear that that is something that is a creator need, and it is something that we are exploring for sure.
Ray, you want to ask the next one?
Oh, yes, I'll take both iPads. That'd be great. So the next one is for Tom from Dad B-Dubs. That's a name. What is the rationale for eliminating hosting capabilities?
This kind of question has come up so many times in the last couple of weeks, so I'm glad to get a chance to talk about it. Hosting is a product that's about 8-9 years old now for Twitch. And its intention was originally that same idea behind raids that I was talking about before, which is like, how does one streamer help another by sharing their viewers when they're not live? Unfortunately, hosts were also terribly confusing for anyone who isn't already a hardcore existing Twitch stream member. And that's because most people, when they come to Twitch for the very first time as a viewer, don't actually come to the homepage of Twitch. They go directly to one of your channel pages. Because most people's very first time choosing to come to Twitch is because they found something that you have posted elsewhere on the internet, and they think you're cool, they think you're dope, and so they show up on your channel page, and then there is a video of somebody else streaming, and that is incredibly confusing to the user experience, and we saw a real kind of user churn, and so it was basically wasting a ton of that effort and time and energy that you'd put in. And so what we're doing with your kind of recommended stream list, what we're doing with channel trailers, is trying to make sure that if somebody shows up on your offline channel page, they understand that Twitch is a live service. When will we be live next? What can I expect when that's happening? And use the scheduling function to kind of give that information. And then if that person's still interested in exploring content, your VODs and your clips are there, as well as the other streams you're recommending. So hosting and raids, they're all designed to do the same thing, but we just think raids are a better tool to help you get recommended more, as well as help another streamer in the moment. And the offline channel page really needs to make sure that this is one of those on your behalf things, that the channel page has to make sense to a viewer who has no context, because it's going to sound a little bit strange for me to say this, but the rest of the internet is fundamentally an on-demand experience, right? When I go anywhere, I can get the thing that I am expecting. That's not true for a live stream. When I come to your stream, sometimes you are not there, and we have to customize the experience to make sure that we're giving the viewer the most intuitive experience.
Mike, I've actually got 2 questions that are related, so I'm going to hit you with the old 1-2 punch. First of all, John Ron Gone Wrong asks, are you ever going to implement skippable ads? And similarly, Thy Grinch asks, any plans on having skippable ads specifically for longtime followers?
Sorry, what was the second question?
Any plans on having skippable ads specifically for longtime followers?
Yeah. Skippable ads is on the list of things we want to try in terms of an ad experience. One of the reasons we haven't prioritized it is we've been prioritizing ad breaks over pre-rolls. And certainly in a pre-roll format, you really want a skippable ad to be able to move forward and get out of the ad. But our overall strategy is to reduce pre-rolls, so skippable ads kind of fall down the list. In a mid-roll format where we're trying to optimize the amount of revenue that a streamer can earn from ads, skippable ads have far less earning per viewer, basically. And so, and what's the viewer experience? If you were to have like 8 or 9 skippable ads in a row, like it almost seems more annoying than it's worth it. We're going to explore it, but I don't have any specific plans or dates that we're going to make any changes to enable skippable ads. Probably the place where they fit the best is in the case where you have a viewer that's coming back, time and time again. They're consistent, they're in your channel, maybe you're not running ads. That may be a good example where a skippable that may or may not be relevant could be a good fit to improve the user experience, but still allow streamers to earn some money from ads.
Okay, all right. Well, Allison, right back to you.
Okay.
So Flash Hound asks, should we get a notification when we report, when we've sinned against the user, resulting in action being taken when we open our notification inbox? So essentially, when I report something, can I get a notification when that's done?
Yeah, you do. Right now, it all happens through email. So when you file a report, you will always get a notification saying we received your report. Those are sent through email. So again, check your spam, check your preferences, but it's sent there. We do eventually want to bring these onto the Twitch website because we understand Because when things get filtered as spam, not very effective. People aren't going to see that. And so we do want to make that more visible to folks, but check your spam, and everyone should be getting emails when you file a report.
Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up, is if we were talking about adding them on site. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep.
Our last question comes from Tenmar. Mike, this is for you. They ask, what is Twitch's vision for streamers to be able to monetize and create more content on Twitch outside of streams? Why don't streamers get monetization from things like VODs, highlights, clips, etc.?
It's a good question.
Yeah, we certainly are not doing anything with clips right now from a monetization perspective. There are ads in VODs. We certainly could give streamers more control to decide how many ads at what break. I think right now it's controlled by us. But the way we think about this is we're not going to build a engagement experience to monetize it. We're going to build a great engagement experience, discovery, content, viewing, et cetera, and then monetization follows versus the other way around. So I guess that'd be more over to you, Tom, in terms of what that becomes, and then we'll talk about how we can help streamers make more money from it.
Yeah, I was actually going to jump in because I think that's precisely right, which is like, I get the question a lot. Why aren't we doing more with clips, and why aren't we trying to build more VOD? And I get that. I understand the argument that says something that I have built before that is kind of an annuity that just works for me when I'm offline is really appealing. I believe genuinely that you have a choice when you're building products, which is we can try and be average at everything, or we can be really good at something. And I believe that Twitch is the best place on the internet to live stream and build a community. I believe that our chat, that our safety tools, and that your capacity to turn a viewer into a community member who sticks with you and goes on to monetize is the best anywhere on the internet. That's where I want to make sure that we are focused and doubling down on doing that. We do have teams actively working on clips all the time. What they're working on right now are things like the chat highlights and the download tools I talked about in order for you to take your content to places where the thing they are best at is distributing short form video and bringing that back. And what that means is the responsibility we have to you is to make sure that without you having to just keep increasing the number of hours you're broadcasting, that we keep increasing the revenue earned for the hours broadcasting in that optimization. So the bet we're making is by making our tools to be a live streamer, to build tools that allow you to turn people who are viewing you into your champions and into your community members, that we can keep helping you earn net more money for the same amount of work year on year on year. And Mike talked about the 27% earlier. And that you don't need an annuity, you just need to make sure that like your stream is more valuable every time you go live. And so I understand the desire from everybody being like, but I see another great product over here. Why aren't you also doing that thing? I think there's real value in being like focused and specific and being the best at something than average at everything.
Yeah. We have to wrap up, but before we go, I just wanted to get some final thoughts from each of you.
Yeah, let me rephrase it for you.
Sure.
I want you to, what are some key takeaways that you want people who spent the time to be here and watching to take away from this conversation with you three? What are some very key points from each of you?
I'll start.
Go for it.
The thing I hope that everyone walks away with here is that we are continuously focused in growing the pie, growing your paycheck. You make more money, we make more money, everybody wins. It's growing the pie, job one. Second thing is remember Prime. Prime is an amazing, good benefit for the community that results in real dollars in your pocket. And we talked about the math there in terms of turning that, what feels like a feel bad at 50% to 65% as a function of the benefit of Prime. And then the third piece is really we're in this for the long haul. That's the foundation of all the decisions that we're making is how do we do this for the long term, build a great community, build a great service that's here for you today and for the next 100 years.
And I'm going to start with his last point, which is we're in this for the long term. And I am really proud of the progress that we have made in safety on Twitch in the last few years. But this is not the end. It will never be the end, which is, good news for my job security, I guess. But it is a place where we will continue to show up and we will keep working on this because we know that this continues beyond any events that may hit the news. We know that these are things that streamers experience every day, and we are here and working for you and working for those streamers. And also, I just want to say thank you to everyone in the community who helps to do that, because this is a partnership with them through your user reports, through your amazing mods, through using the tools that we create. That is the only way that we can keep Twitch safe at scale and have these amazing diversity of channels that are out there. And so thank you to all of you for doing that. Please keep, be nice to your mods, is I guess the final thought that I have. Ray?
It's an evergreen statement. It's an evergreen statement. Yeah.
And I would just go back to mine, which is think about your whole audience when you think about growing it. Don't just concentrate on your view count at any one moment. We will keep building tools that are designed to give you more ability to grow and that kind of give you the ability to take your best content places and to make great community-focused content. And the commitment we'll make to you is that we're going to keep making that easier and easier. I know that there is an overwhelming amount of tooling that exists and that sometimes it seems like too much. So as we are building more tools, one of the things we're focused on is how do we take the work out of streaming for you? But this is a partnership, as everybody said. Like, be intentional about your growth, and we will keep doing our best to make sure that like you don't have to spend an hour off stream for every hour you spend on stream trying to make your community grow. And also just thank you. For those of you who are here, this has been just an extraordinary couple of days, and we're so pumped to get to hang out with all of you. And thank you for coming and listening to Three Nerds Talk.
Seriously. And thank you, Zach and Ray, for having us.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
Ray, we talked a lot about different tools and tips and tricks. Maybe there's somewhere that you would like to point the audience that they can go to learn more about this. Is there something?
What a nice tee up for me. So, hey, I'm Ray Apollo, and I manage the community education called the Creator Camp. So a lot of the things that we talk about, you can also go there and learn about in a little bit more depth. So yeah, check it out. It would be wonderful. And I'm sure they would also like that too.
We really would.
Mike, Tom, Allison, thank you so much for joining us today. This is not just a TwitchCon exclusive sort of situation. Patch Notes happens the last Thursday of every month on twitch.tv/twitch. So if you want to learn more about product updates, if you want to hear more from folks like our panel here, tune in the last Thursday of every month for more Patch Notes. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time. Have a great rest of your TwitchCon.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Take care.